here we have the location code, and it brought the yellow data over. Now, just to kind of show that the rules do actually work, I know that location purple is not a relevant location in my NAV system. So I'm just going to go ahead and change these all to purple, just because I don't believe it's going to work. So I changed those locations to purple, but I'm sure you can envision here in more real life, I may have pages of information that I can manipulate. But here we're changing them to purple. I come to my Dynamics NAV tab, and I save changes. As soon as I try to save, it tells me, hey, no location purple exists. You cannot use that. So, I can retry, I can ignore. It's not going to work. So I'll go ahead and abort that, and I'm a believer now that purple does not exist. And I'll go ahead and switch that to a valid location green. I'll take green and just copy it to the other fields. I'll go to NAV, save changes. Didn't get an error message, which means it's good to go. I'll go ahead and exit here. See, it still says yellow until I refresh. And there we go. Everything has been changed from yellow to green. So once again, a lot of, hopefully you can kind of see where that would go with a lot of implementation, data conversion, the ability to send that structure out, if you will, get your information input, and then bring it back into NAV. So probably the best, in my opinion, one of the best examples of how web services can help your organization. So we'll go back to the Role Center one more time. Just a couple more items here, and then looks like we're a few minutes ahead of schedule. Some of the reporting has changed a little bit. If I come over to reports, and let's say I want to, I'm just going to pick the top customer list. The option grid has changed a little bit more pretty, I guess. We can also come in and add filters, no different before than when you would right-click and add the field in the filter. I think it gives a little bit more uniformity and a little bit more intuitive as to how to add that filter information. So that's in every one of the reports now. I can come in and, in this particular case, I'm looking at top customer list. I'm looking at the top 10 customers I wish to review, and I will go ahead and preview. Let's see, at preview, there's a handful of reports now that actually has a progress bar that has been added to the report. So you kind of know that the report is working in the background and is not hung up. So this case, top 10 customers, pretty self-explanatory. Similar look and feel as far as the format of the actual report. But I also have the ability now to come in and save, and I can save information right here to Excel or Acrobat PDF file. So kind of a nice option there if I want to send that information off from the preview, and then just basic page setup information. So those option grids now are available in all the reports, and progress toolbar in just a handful of ones that may take some time. So reporting, always, an option, or I should say lots of choices as far as reporting within NAV. Business Analytics now is available to run on SQL Server 2000 and 2005 if anyone is using that as a reporting tool. Obviously, you also have SQL Reporting Services as a tool, Jet Reports, just to kind of name. There are a lot of add-in options available for reporting, and especially as we get into the newer and newer technology, the Jet Reports and Excel add-in, Product Bio Express, Target, Pivotier, any others that you or your reseller may be using right now to tap information. So I talked too fast. That's kind of a whirlwind tour of what's available in NAV 2009. I hope at least give you somewhat of an understanding of what you can do with the product And I guess at this point I can open it up to any questions that anyone may have or observations or...
This is Brandon Colwich. I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
When you linked that file on the customer card, I presume that's just a hot link and that's not actually pulling the file itself in anywhere like a blob or anything like that, right?
Right. Just a link, right? A hyperlink.
So we still have the same restrictions with this version that we do with older versions, and that the person has to have access to that file location in order to launch the file.
You are correct.
All right. Another question is, I'm just curious, how do you use standard roles and permissions to manage a person's ability to edit in a data sheet? You change location from yellow to green in Excel and publish it back to the SQL database. How's the permissions on that controlled? Maybe that's not a question for this forum. I don't know.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I am not quite certain because I am not a technical resource, but I can get an answer. Absolutely.
Oh, that's all right. No, that's all right. I wasn't sure. This is the first time I've been on one of these NAVUG things before, so I wasn't sure.
And it's the first time I've presented, so hey.
All right. Well, I think I have an idea of how that probably works, but I can research it elsewhere. Thanks.
Okay. And obviously your reseller is a resource as well because, the product's been out for a while now. Are there any other questions or comments or...
Yes, this is Alexis Holmes. I have two questions. One, when you were able to edit those location codes and you dropped it back into the system, were those changes reflected in the change log? If you have it turned on to track changes on your customers?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then just by looking at the screen, the rotator screen, how would I know this is for the customer, for a customer person?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
Okay. By looking at your screen, how would I know this is for a customer service rep? Does it list that role somewhere, or?
No, it lists my name, and I know that that's how I built the role.
Okay. So is there any way to add, to say where it says home and role center, to say, okay, this is the customer service role? Because I would assume your organizations will have more than 21 roles.
Oh, exactly. And those are just kind of a template. Yes.
Okay. So you can actually add to display what role you're looking at when you log in.
Right. I mean, I can change any of the names. I can make this button say home,
Okay.
Rep 1, Rep 2, or whatever. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, do you know if that's still a ZUP file thing, where that information is being stored? No.
It is not in the RTC. It's still in Classic NAV 2009, but not in the RTC.
Okay.
I have an option now to delete the personalization settings, which I understand kind of takes care of killing any of my personalization settings, but no ZUP file.